Today I wanted to do something a little bit different to what we usually do on the channel. It is still centered around, of course, World of Tanks and World of Tanks Modern Armor, but the main thing about this specific video is that, of course, we've got the battle report for 2024, which you guys can see on your own accounts. This is something that Wargaming have done in the past, but recently been a few different updates to how it actually works in the game. We're going to run through exactly what it is and the sorts of things you can see, as well as some of the other useful websites that you might want to use if you're trying to have a look at yourself as a player, figure out where you've kind of done well, and kind of track some of your stats as well. So hopefully that sounds at least somewhat useful, and you guys can go ahead and check out your own stats, compare with your friends, and there's something else that people can do as well as the moment because of the fact that there is a kind of gift or reward system for doing one of the certain things. Now, the actual battle report, this is something that Wargaming introduced on the 12th of February. Some of you may or may not have already seen it, but essentially from the 12th of February to the 11th of March, you'll be able to take a look at your battle report. We're going to go through mine in just a second. Your battle report lists all your highlights from 2024 in digital format. So you can log into your personalized page to see them all and receive gifts as well. And you can also send gratitude letters to certain players that you might want to send them to, whether that's your friends or someone else. You can do that as well. And we'll go through some of the ones that you guys have already sent me. And of course, yeah, that is kind of how it works. So, you have commanders who played at least 100 battles in 2024 will have the battle report, so you have to have at least played 100 games in 2024 to actually have access to it. But to get started, click on the below button and allow full access to get the complete experience. You have to log on to the Wargaming website for console to be able to actually fully see your results. I'll leave a link in the description of this video so you can go and access the actual account where you can get your report and that sort of thing. And then your companion website is filled with stats, achievements, and fun memories from last year. And then you've got these gratitude letters. So if you've jumped into the game, you see something like this, that's because someone sent you a gratitude letter. And if there's a particular commander you wish to send a special thank you to, you certainly can with gratitude letters. Choose your favorite template from the battle report website and send it to your allies as a token of appreciation. The letters will appear both on the receiver's personal page and the game screen once they log in. So this is what I got when I jumped into the game. And then, of course, you can send them right here in the big button on the news article. So I will link the news article for you guys so you can see your report and then, of course, send some letters if you want to. So if we jump over to the battle report, so if we click here, we've been playing for over 10 years now. You can see that in Cold War we only played 50 battles. In World War II we played 789 battles. You can see a lot of the Cold War vehicles were tank destroyers, probably just because they were at the time. And then if we can pause it down in the bottom right, you can see we played 31 light tanks in World War II, 130 mediums, 191 heavy tanks, and then 340 tank destroyers. Seems like last year was just the year of the tank destroyers, to be honest. And then 97 artilleries as well. Although I'm not entirely sure we played 97 artilleries. I guess that is the total games in each one of the classes. That would make sense because we played a bit of the T92 on stream and stuff like that, and for a couple of videos, which probably is the majority of those. But yeah, quite a few in the tank destroyers. That also is primarily down to the fact that we were grinding out the Challenger to try and get that 4 marked in the game, which we managed to do. So I would expect like 2/3 of the games in tank destroyers was because of that fact. And yeah, you can see that's the kind of distribution. So mainly a medium tank player, to be honest, when I play the game normally, and I'm not going for 4 marks or anything like that. But yeah, heavy tanks we played quite a bit because there were quite a few released last year, but that's kind of that one. And then we jump in and you can see my favourite tanks in Cold War were the Malo and a couple of the other ones. So if we go over here, the Racketing Jagdpanzer and then the Jagdpanzer 4.5. So those were the tech tree vehicles. And then of course the Malo, which we did for a couple of videos, which is primarily why we played 13 games. So nothing too spectacular in that one. And of course that tank was absolutely one of the most broken tanks in the game at the time. So yeah, nothing too special on the win rates here. You can see 46% in the Malo, which is a travesty, 50 in the Rakuten Jagdpanzer, and then 83 in the Jagdpanzer 4.5. And then if we jump over to World War II, you'll see that we played 69 games in the T92, so quite a lot in there. And then 192 in the Challenger, which is why we had such a high tank destroyer amount when we were playing last year. You can see 68% win rate in the Challenger and 131 wins, which was pretty decent. And then we played a bit in the Cromwell, I think because we were 3-marking that at some point, but only 29 games. So yeah, you can see the typical win rate of those. And then if we jump on through, you'll see the seasons that I managed to complete. So Year of the Dragon, Tigers. We didn't actually complete the Patriot season, only stage 37. But that's mainly because of the fact that we were essentially just taken a bit of a break last year, trying to tone it down a little bit, and I was focusing on a couple of other things, hence why you haven't seen a lot of videos recently. I was actually meant to be starting back daily last week, which is why you saw the video, but then I got ill, which I've only literally just recovered from, and we've still got a little bit of a cold. It was like a week and a bit long cold. I don't know what was going on, but yeah, that was definitely not fun, and on some of the days literally just spent it completely in bed and not doing any videos, so that really did suck. But yeah, Darkness Rising stage 149, played a lot in that one, primarily because we were streaming a lot and of course just playing a ton of games, trying to 4-mark our Challenger. I believe that was the one that we did. I'm sure some of yours look a lot more stacked out in this department. And then you can see these are the medals that we got. So 330 Battle Hero medals, 1,002 honorary ranks, 59 epic medals, 1 group reward, because we don't actually ever really platoon up, to be honest, 3 commemorative tokens, and 418 stage awards, which are from the battle passes, I believe. And then jumping over my best maps, apparently number 1 is Hellfire Pass, which is strange because, I mean, maybe, I don't even know why that is, but 1500 average base XP, Lakeville, another one with 1357, and then Malinovka, 1357 as well. That map is just generally quite good, and it's been in the game for a long time alongside Lakeville, so probably the reason why there. Then we had most frequent platoon squad. We played with Ricky quite a bit last year, and then DJ Taz 99. So that was someone on stream, and you can see those. So the people who you typically platoon up with in the battles. I destroyed 1,499 tanks last year, apparently. And 1 tech tree line was what we conquered last year. Does it actually show it? I don't even know. But of course, we've done most of the World War II tech tree lines anyway. So yeah, I mean, I'm not that surprised. We got 890,000 total XP last year in the top 28%, so not particularly that great in terms of total, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that play a lot more games than me, that's for sure. And then we own 115 2D commanders and 62 3D commanders. I don't buy commanders, so that is just what we have in the game from playing the game for so long. And I fired 16,361 shells, 8,280 of them penetrated the enemy armor, so pretty much a 2-to-1 on penetrations, so not too bad in that department either. And then, of course, we traveled 2 million kilometers apparently within all of those games, so yeah, I guess that's somewhat decent. It would have been cool to see exactly how many in every single one. And let's zoom out to see the bigger picture. So these are all of the ones from the entire community, which should be quite interesting to see what you guys have been getting up to. So there were 29 million battles over the course of the entire year, so quite a lot of them. I don't know what that would work out to per day, but we could do a quick one on 29 divided by 365. So it's about 79,000 battles a day, I believe. 675 million, or is that billion? Kilometers traveled, 438 million tanks destroyed on the battlefield. So a decent proportion, about 1 million per day. 48 community challenges players completed together. So I would assume that's all of the challenges, to be honest. I don't think we ever really miss out on any of the challenges being completed. And there you go. Here's your reward for your dedication. So it's 500 gold to be added to my account, which we will claim. And then when we jump in, that's what we should see. So been playing since the 11th of January 2015 on this account. And I believe we had an account prior to playing on this one, which would be older. But this is my main Xbox account. So yeah, there's that. And then, of course, we've got the gratitude letters. So these are all of the ones that we've received. So if we go over down to the bottom, you can see we've received quite a few. And we have got ourselves I don't know what this is, limited edition. Violets are blue. My tank might be slow, but I'll always roll with you. Okay. Thank you, Blue Cosmos. We got Ricky, who gave us one. Moose Erickson, Alan Q, Brass Dragon. He was the one that sent the limited edition one, so I'm assuming you have to pay for that, maybe. And then Revrod 13, Brass Dragon, NCAA 380, Rav 72, Chris Slayer PL, Carved POE M86812, Cheen Jack Pat Achu. I don't even know. So 2 of those, 3 of them, Lone Wolf Killing and Bishop Trooper, which were all of the ones that were sent. So thank you very much for all of those. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the actual limited edition one is. I don't know if this is like it gives you something. But you can also see exactly what you got, or what their stats are as well. So you can see the player's battle report. And if we click on send a gratitude letter back, so we should be able to send one. There we go. And yeah, you can type in the username of whoever you want to send it to, and you should be able to send a player. So if I hopefully should be able to search. And there we go. And we sent one to Ricky as well. So there you go. And that is basically it. But one thing I wanted to touch on before the end of this video, however, is obviously you have your typical stats on the website, which gives you all of the stats of all of your vehicles and everything typically that your account has. So we have played a total of 27,500 battles pretty much. 61% win rate. You got your tanks taken out to the actual you being taken out at 2.61. You got core/receive, so this is damage taken and the damage that you received out, your total experience, and then you've also got where your damage comes from, so whether that's actual damage, tracking, spotting, and then tracking on the wheel. And then you've got all of your tanks for all of the different variants, so you can see my most played tanks and stuff like that. But this website is okay, but it isn't the best one to actually take a look at. So if we go over to our favorite website, which is WotStars, this gives you your essentially like your total stats for playing over the course of your career. It gives you a more detailed breakdown of all of the tanks. It will log certain things that you do have on your account as well. So if we go down here, you can see the typical performance that we are playing at over the course of the last 90 days. So as you can see, haven't really played at all over the course of the last 2 months. Yeah, just because I had a lot of stuff going on outside of playing games and stuff like that on the internet. But we were sat at a 70% win rate pretty much. Only 200 battles played, and we played a lot of the Challenger, which is probably what forms up this. But we played at an average of 6,100 WN8 like over the course of those 200 games. You'll also see your records and milestones. So you can see my most damage ever is 19,335 in the 477A Malo, which we did a video on. We've got the bathtub as one of my highest tanks taken out vehicles. And of course you got the T57 Heavy, which shares that as well. Both of them being 10, which is where our pools medals come in from, which is for taking out 10 different vehicles. Most XP was the ISU 152. I think we got like 9,000 damage in the ISU 152, which is why we got nearly 4,500 XP in that battle. And then you see a stat by your vehicle, so you can see kind of where you're typically got the highest win rates and how many kind of classes you got. You got a different drop down, so you can see where you get the most XP from playing, and you can also see where the majority of your battles are. So you can see typically between tiers 8 and 10 is where we kind of sit at on the account, with tier 8 being slightly higher just because of the fact that there's a lot of tier 8 premiums, and in the last couple of years it's just been basically reviewing tier 8 premiums and stuff that come out over the course of the time playing. And then you can see like the win rate over time. It's a lot harder as you get more battles, so yours might look a lot more plateaued or what have you. But of course, the more battles you play, the harder it is to change the average. So if I had 120,000 battles, it would take a lot more games playing at the same amount of skill level to actually improve it. So, you know, if you get good instantly on the game, then you're going to see your stats go up dramatically. Whereas if it took you, you know, 50,000 battles just to, you know, get to grips with the game, it's going to take you a lot longer. And then, of course, you've got a detailed breakdown of all of the tanks that you've possibly owned in the game, which you can see here. It also shows you all of your marks of excellence vehicles. So if we click on one of them, for example, marks of excellence, so you can see we got 3-4 marks. So the Challenger, the IS, and the Excalibur. I actually got the Excalibur 4 marked a long time ago. That was when they very first came into the game. And we were actually, for quite a while, actually ranked 1 in the Excalibur, but haven't played it in so long, and I probably wouldn't be able to maintain the spot anyway. But we take it out occasionally. But you can see the sort of damage and assistance you need to do in the tank, so about 2.7k on average to be able to actually get yourself the 4 mark. And you can see the Challenger, we're ranked 24 out of 11,000. I believe to actually get the ranks you have to play 100 games in the tank, something like that, roughly. Yeah, so look, the S35CA, we had 96 battles, and so we haven't got a rank. So I think that is generally where you're sat at on terms of seeing where you rank against other people. And yeah, I mean, that tank had an 85% win rate when we were playing in the S35CA, which is why I don't like lower tier like tanks. I find it just feels a bit too clubby when you drop down and start playing those vehicles. But I think I was just playing it when we were jumping around with Panzer 5.4s back when 3-man platoons of Panzer 5.4s were, yeah, a little bit overpowered, shall we say, and the nerf to that. And so, yeah, those are kind of the overall in-depth stats. It gives you a graph of everything, gives you your typical like panel, so how much damage, how many penetrations you get, the amount of spotting you do, the bouncing, and everything for each of the individual tanks, so you can see them all in the actual game. So you'll see it on the right hand side of the screen right here. This is where you'll see all of your stats. So at the bottom you've got a detailed list, much like you would see with your overall stats, and that's kind of how this website works. So I'll leave a link to WotStars in the description of this video, so you guys can have a look at it, and you can type in anyone. I don't even know. So if we type in Ricky, hopefully it'll come up. So, and we can click on Ricky and we can see his stats over the course of the last 90 days. So significantly more games than me, nearly 4.5 times more. So yeah, definitely a lot more that Ricky's playing. but you can see everyone's stats in the game, provided they play on PS4 or Xbox. And you can see they come up here, lots of players playing all sorts of different things. And then you've also got Hall of Fame on the website, which I believe shows you everyone, fingers crossed, that are in here. It takes a while to load because it's dragging all of the info from the website, the Wargaming websites. You can see these are kind of the tank records, the most damage done that someone's ever done in each of them. So you can see someone managed to do 15,000 damage in the Leopard 1, 16,381. I think it could be combined assistance and spotting on here, which was 16,300. So yeah, a ton, and I mean a ton of games played by people. So yeah, you can see all of the different tanks in the game and the top people that have played in them. So yeah, lots to have a look at, and hopefully this video has given you a good overview of kind of the year. I'll do a video kind of going through some of my thoughts on some of the recent decisions by Wargaming. It's been a while. I've seen the loot boxes and stuff like that, and then we'll be getting back into the full kind of content creation on the game very shortly. So be expecting that. I'm going to try and smash out a load of videos today as when we're recording this one. And then, yeah, hopefully that will give me at least a little bit of time to go ahead and play. I've got quite a few games already stored up, ready to go, so it's just doing the voiceovers. So hopefully you enjoyed this one, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you for watching and bearing with, and I will see you there. Goodbye.